Welcome to your Around the Peninsula. I'm Senior Airman Devin Nostine. A group of service members and families share part of their culture from the treasured islands of the South Pacific.
So 1, 2, 3.
Hitting other people isn't nice. Hitting yourself is questionable, but a group of people hitting themselves to good music is great entertainment.
We like to express ourselves by the way we dance. And we move together in sync and also show off our talent as dancers, as singers, and entertainers, because we're happy people of Polynesia. I'm glad we have this opportunity with our youngsters here to share that culture and so they can maintain that culture within the Samoan community.
Traditional Samoan dances are more than movements synchronized to music. The rhythm and sounds from slapping different parts of the body tell a story.
We're very proud people. We love our culture. We love our land. We love who we are as Samoans. And most importantly, we love to get together and converse with each other and just share our stories so that no one is feeling homesick, because we are a long way from home.
Yeah. Army Sergeant Stephen Dornbos, Yongsan, Korea.
Sergeant First Class George Roberts works in the 8th Army Knowledge Management Office. All over the world, soldiers are known for acts of heroism. Army Sergeant Trey Maris tells us about one soldier who helped save 5 lives and for his actions was awarded the Soldier's Medal.
Soldiers are known for performing heroic acts on the battlefield. For one soldier in particular, he became a hero for saving lives off the battlefield, and he says stepping up was just second nature.
It really was an easy decision. We just knew we needed to help them. John and I saw the accident happen in front of us, and the 5 individuals were flung out the boat. They needed help, and we wanted to go help them.
Soldiers constantly rely on their training to help them face numerous situations, and this time proved to be no different.
I think there was a lot that helped me from past training to past experiences. It really allowed me to have the confidence and the ability to act under intense pressure, slow everything down, make a good decision, and then follow through. Without my training throughout my entire career and before, I don't think I would have been able to do this.
Major Hull was presented the Soldier's Medal for his actions that day, but is quick to point out he was just one of many involved.
Really, it was a team effort. I wasn't alone in the boat. John was there, and then Senior Chief Welsh and his personnel at U.S. Coast Guard Brant Point, they came quickly. They were very professional and helped out. So ultimately, just a representation of everyone who was there.
Army Sergeant Trey Maris, Camp Casey, Korea.
The Soldier's Medal is awarded to those who distinguish themselves by heroism not involving an actual conflict with an enemy. The Korean Lantern Festival is an annual event held in the honor of Buddha's birth. Katusa Sergeant Chang Yun Chan takes us to the Lotus Lantern Festival 2015.
Welcome to your Korea on location. I'm Katusa Sergeant Chang Yun Chan. Today I'm here at the 2015 Seoul Lantern Festival.
Visitors come from around the world to see an event that happens only once a year. The visitors get a chance to participate by making their own lanterns, dressing up in traditional Korean clothing, or march in this amazing event.
This is my first time here. I heard about it on Facebook, and I decided to come take my daughter and see what kind of parades they had here in Seoul.
Events range from crafting lanterns to dancing, but the main attraction is the parade itself, with many of performers from Asian Buddhist communities.
You should come to the Lantern Festival so you can immerse yourself in the Korean culture. It's a good thing to see at least once while you're staying here in Seoul. It's really fun, it's different, it's beautiful, it's good for the kids.
Reporting from Seoul, South Korea, I'm Katusa Sergeant Chang Yun Chan.
Be sure to catch the next Lantern Festival in 2016. Are you ready if someone pulls a knife on you? What if they point a gun at you? Senior Airman Nick Dostis explains how Kunsan Airmen are preparing themselves for any situation.
Hebrew for contact combat, Israeli Krav Maga, is aggressive.
Transfer from talking to somebody to a less lethal to a full lethal in a matter of seconds.
Designed for protection in real-world street fights, it has to be.
This gave the citizens themselves a way to defend themselves against anybody that came in there, and then branched into the Israeli Defense Force its other forms of its military, and its police force.
Krav Maga's success doesn't come from its aggression. It's about control.
If you don't have discipline, you're going to lose your fight, whether that be military, everyday life, or martial arts. To get that tunnel vision and to wildly go into a situation without any type of discipline opens you up more than you may think. In Krav Maga, we have the saying that everybody's bigger, faster, and stronger than us. If we don't fight smart, then we're going to lose going muscle to muscle. So we make sure that we have that discipline and we fight effectively and we fight smart.
A smarter fighting force is the reason the military close quarters combat course exists.
When we live in that nice comfort zone, we think, oh, I'm never going to get robbed. Oh, when I go on this deployment, I'm going to stay inside the wire. Put them through this course. It's 15 hours long. At the end of those 15 hours, we get a completely different person. We get somebody that's extremely confident in their abilities. We get somebody that can actually defend themselves.
Your skill level doesn't matter.
I have not done other martial arts. This is my first class, actually.
Only what you're willing to bring to the table.
We want to make sure that everybody follows as many martial arts as they possibly can and as many schools of thought on self-defense.
Senior Airman Nick Dostis, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
Airman becomes certified after the 15-week course. As the clock strikes on his final hour, one member of the Wolf Pack looks back on his time in Korea. Army Sergeant Alexandria Corniero tells us how Kunsan Air Base bids farewell to Wolf 54.
Kunsan Air Base bid farewell to the 8th Fighter Wing Commander, Colonel Kenneth Ekman.
As I arrived at Kunsan, what I was really struck by was the amazing history of the 8th Fighter Wing. You know, I'm the son of an Air Force fighter pilot who flew in the Vietnam War, and so as a kid I grew up with the legend of the Wolf Pack and everything that they accomplished. We're part of one of the most successful alliances in the free world, and so that's been a great thing to be a part of.
However, the farewell did not just consist of the change of command, but also a Finny flight. A Finny flight is a celebration that commemorates the end of an aviator's tour.
Getting to fly fighters is really a privilege, and it's something that you never want to take for granted. It's this gift that I get to execute that part of our mission day in and day out. And so I'll tell you, I just savored the moment, savored flying the F-16. As a fighter wing commander, flying a Finny flight is an important part of saying goodbye to the installation and ending a command tour. It is a time-honored tradition. Thank you for the send-off, but it's really not about me. There is no greater place to command than the Wolf Pack. My thanks to the men and women of the Wolf Pack for making this an absolutely memorable tour. It made it all the more special.
I'm Sergeant Alexandria Cornero, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
As Kunsan Air Base says farewell to Wolf 54, they also welcome Wolf 55, Colonel Jeremy Sloan, as the new commander of the 8th Fighter Wing. Throughout life, boys are molded to become men. Army Sergeant Matt Cromer takes us to a classroom where those men are molded to become leaders.
Command Joint Physical, Mental, and Emotional Week starts off with 2 days of classroom work where senior enlisted non-commissioned officers from all different branches teach junior NCOs about the tools they will need to be a smart, strong, and decisive leader.
Backman University, to me, first and foremost, is an opportunity to be able to connect and reach out to our mid-grade leaders and to be able to impart in them important points and knowledge about their functioning as a leader in the military, and also to be able to talk to them about how important it is to sometimes reach across the aisle to our sister services and look for opportunities where we can learn and grow from shared experiences.
The students interact with each other, learning different techniques used by the other branches. The second day is coming to a close, and graduation is just a couple of hours away. But all the students are still busy taking notes and asking questions of their senior NCOs.
So my only hope is that this continues more into the future, and that we continue to take advantage of these opportunities and continue to push towards our leaders the importance of the things that they need to know in order to be able to take care of and properly train their soldiers to be able to lead them into our next fight.
Army Sergeant Matt Cromer, Yongsong, Korea.
Combined joint. The teachers at Backbone University must now get their sleep as their journey begins into Mungadai 2. That was your Around the Peninsula for Thursday, May 28th. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.